Texas Governor Greg Abbott just wrapped up a news conference where he said he was misled and he is livid at police after they made a mistake during the response to the deadly shooting at Robb Elementary School and gave him bad information. Today we learned from Texas police that 19 police officers stood in the hallway of the school outside of the classroom while a gunman was murdering 19 children and 2 teachers. The governor said the information that he previously shared was information he got from law enforcement, and that learning that it was wrong is unacceptable.
There are people who deserve answers the most, and those are the families whose lives have been destroyed. They need answers that are accurate, and it is inexcusable that they may have suffered from any inaccurate information whatsoever.
The governor previously praised law enforcement for their amazing courage by running toward gunfire and for their quick response.
Today, we also got an update from Texas's director of the Department of Public Safety about why it took so long for officers to get inside that school after the gunman opened fire. He says the commander on scene thought the shooter had barricaded himself inside alone.
The wrong decision, period. There's no excuse for that. But again, I wasn't there, but I'm just telling you, from what we know, we believe there should have been an entry at that as soon as you can. Hey, when there's an active shooter, the rules change. It's no longer, okay, it's no longer a barricaded subject. We don't have time.
The public safety director says there were 19 officers there, but a commander inside thought they needed more equipment. The director says it was believed at the time that the suspect was barricaded and there were no threats to children. A former school resource officer in our area says she thinks other states should mimic the way Florida has moved to protect children in schools. She spoke with News4JAX reporter Marilyn Parker anonymously. Marilyn, we're also learning new details about what happened.
So the safety director today says the school resource officer was not on campus during this horrific shooting. When asked why, he said they'll have more answers down the road. A former SRO I spoke with says she doesn't know what happened in this situation, but says there must be a team effort to minimize the destruction. For 13 years, a woman we spoke with was an SRO in 2 local counties.
There was a time, I believe, when being a resource officer literally meant you were just officer friendly. You know, you just went around and made the kids feel comfortable.
We're keeping her anonymous. She says in her time, the job has changed to something much more serious.
You're not just walking around, you know, shaking hands and being friendly anymore. You're literally looking out for, you know, a shooter.
She credits the state of Florida for its attention to protecting children at school following the mass shooting at Marjory Stoneman Douglas in Parkland. So you said your training was scenario and critical thinking based, but what do you think could have went wrong in Texas?
I just think that training has to prevail. We just have to remember, you know, what we're taught, and that training has to kick in so that you will, you know, instead of it escalating to step 4 or 5, you stop it at step 1.
The Texas Public Safety Director says officers backed off when they got into the school because the gunman was shooting at them and grazed 2 of them. But he says when you have an active shooter, the rules change.
It was a wrong decision, period. There was 19 officers in there. In fact, there was plenty of officers to do whatever needed to be done, with one exception, is that the incident commander inside believed they needed more equipment.
Authorities say those officers gathered in the hallway for more than 45 minutes before agents used a master key from a janitor to get inside the classroom. The school resource officer was also not there at the time of the shooting.
He was not on campus.
Why?
Well, again, we'll have all those answers down the road.
The former SRO I spoke with says she doesn't know what happened in Uvalde, but that the thought of school shootings is something SROs just can't avoid.
Well, maybe 20 years ago you wouldn't think it, but now every single day when an officer that works in a school gets dressed for work and goes there, that's what they think about.
She says their presence and even more officers at schools could make a difference in preventing more of these horrific shootings. And in that news conference, the Texas Public Safety Director says they want to know what they can do better for next time. The FBI says if facts come out to show a connection between the police force not responding appropriately, they will investigate. Tarek?